Hi, everybody. Harry here to talk about David Pecker, today's witness in the grand jury that is hearing Alvin Bragg's case against Donald Trump. So we learned this morning they were going to hear from another witness. Speculation was rife. Might it be Stormy Daniels? Might it be Alan Weisselberg? Instead, it was a witness from whom they already have heard. David Pecker, to review the bidding, was the head of the National Enquirer. And scandalously, and very much a central part, even the genesis of this case, he and Trump get together, I think at Pecker's initiative, in, as the campaign is heating up, in anticipation of women coming out of the woodwork during the campaign to allege that Trump had sexually assaulted them. And of course, the subtext here is that's because there were many women whom Trump had, in fact, sexually assaulted. Anyway, Pecker wants to be helpful to Trump, and they arrange a deal. And the deal is that Pecker and the National Enquirer will engage in a procedure called catch and kill, meaning the Enquirer will pay women who come forward for their story, but then never print the story. So, if nothing else, it's a very, we have another example of a news organization that is a faux news organization. If this is newsworthy, bearing it is just a flagrant favor and a thumb on the scale for one of the candidates in a presidential election. Now, he did this, we know, for Karen McDougall. She is a Playmate of the Year who came forward and said that she and Trump had an affair, and Pecker paid her $150,000 for her story, which, moreover, he promised was going to be plastered all over the front page of the National Enquirer on a particular issue. Instead, the issue comes out, zip, about McDougall, but guess who is all over the front page? Hillary Rodham Clinton in some complete screed, almost certainly a tissue of half-truths at best. So that's the scheme par excellence. Now comes Stormy Daniels. There is a detail that has always struck me, at least, as strange. But to take a step back on the grand jury testimony today, since he had already been there, presumably he was there to repeat something. Maybe something that the prosecutors thought needed shoring up in the wake of Robert Costello's testimony. Costello's the guy who came in last week to dump all over Michael Cohen. But in any event, there was some little fillip that they needed Pecker to reaffirm. And Pecker, by the way, to all accounts, is not being a take a bullet for Donald Trump kind of witness, but just going in and just doing his duty and answering the questions. Anyway, the detail that's always struck me as strange is they make this agreement up front. They do it for Karen McDougall, and here comes Stormy Daniels. And for some reason, supposedly, Pecker says, I'm not going to do it for her. I'm not going to pay for her. So sort of pushes her back in the arms, probably a bad way to put it, pushes her back in the clutches of Michael Cohen and Donald Trump himself. And it's then that the scheme that is the subject of the prospective charges is reached, where Cohen, who, by the way, is supposed to be Pecker's sort of point of contact for the catch and kill part of the scheme. Instead, it's Cohen who comes in, gets the okay for this from Trump. Cohen says, work with Alan, being Weisselberg, on getting her the money. And then they go forward on the whole scheme consisting of the phony list of payments for legal services to Cohen when they are in actuality hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. Now, what is it about David Pecker's testimony that assistant district attorneys prosecuting the case thought the grand jury needed to hear again, or the grand jury thought the grand jury needed to hear again? It's not clear. But it strikes me as more likely coming from the DA's side, and what it could be, and again, this all goes to what they're charging is the kind of second crime that elevates the misdemeanor of the misstatement for the filing of false documentation saying, oh, this is for Michael Cohen's legal services, when it's really hush money for Stormy Daniels. It could have something to do with making it clear that this is done for the campaign and not for, as Trump said before, and apparently is going to say again, to shield Melania from the harsh news, which I think she probably knows anyway, although it is particularly despicable. Their baby is 4 months old when this is happening, and it's really Trump at near his worst in this aspect of his conduct. So if they need for some reason to really drive home the political kind of political aspect of it, because they're thinking about a campaign finance kind of auxiliary crime, that could be one reason. It's hard to see what Costello would have said. Maybe something, maybe if Costello was saying something like Cohen was doing it all on his own, Pecker coming back in and saying, no, Trump talked to me and I was doing it, with Cohen, etc. That could be a possibility. I will hew to my main line, however, of saying that it's not the kind of thing that augurs some fundamental turnaround, loss of nerve, and serious contemplation of not bringing the charges. It still seems to me like a kind of housekeeping detail that they have done in advance of seeking a true bill from the grand jury. And at least to all appearances, it's hard to know what else could be in front of them than just asking the vote. So Bragg has had surprises in the last week or two, but it would take another surprise, in the absence of which Wednesday seems the right day to vote out to ask the grand jury to vote an indictment on the former president of the United States. All right, something to follow very closely, and we will. So I'll be coming back soon to tell you everything I know and surmise, including that this case is going forward, which I've been saying emphatically on TV for the last several days. I'm going to, have to leave the country, I think, if it turns out otherwise. But I'm betting it won't, and that there'll be much more to discuss come Wednesday, Thursday, very, very soon. Until then, talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.